Yes.
At our BIGGBY Coffee in Highland, Indiana.
Yes. And what store?
We are store 768.
768. And you've been here for how long?
It'll be 3 years on the 27th.
3 years. Right. And this is an old Taco Bell building.
Yes, it was
Beautiful.
an old Taco Bell.
Yeah, I love it so much. Like
Thank
there's
you.
so much light in here. Like you just look at that wall, like when I pulled around
Little nooks.
the nooks, yeah, like with glass though, like that's nice. Okay, so tell me your story. How'd you get into the business? How did you become partners? Yeah, just go ahead and fill that in for us.
Okay, so my name is Cate. I had discovered BIGGBY through my husband. I had never heard of it, never even had BIGGBY. He introduced me to it in Chesterton, Indiana, because he was working out there. I really fell in love with the drink. I thought it tasted great.
What was your first drink?
It was a frozen mocha caramel.
Yes.
Yes, I like the frozen drinks. It was delicious. I was amazed I could actually taste the coffee. It wasn't overly sweet. So I thought that was really cool. And so I started looking into BIGGBY and just kind of fell in love with everything that I was reading about it. And I saw their franchising opportunities. And I just thought, that's kind of cool. Maybe that's something we could be interested in. So I had talked about it. And then Rick and America were our neighbors at the time. And our daughters had become friends right off the bat. So we were friends and neighbors. And we just kind of would casually talk about it. And one day they were just like, okay, Cate, is this something you actually want to do? Do you actually want to open this coffee shop? And I said, yes, I think I really do. And they said, all right, let's go for it. So it was very random and kind of spontaneous, really.
Right, yeah.
And then just kind of went from there. We signed the franchise agreement.
And then like how long was that conversation? From the time you were introduced to it?
I had never had BIGGBY before. So this was new to me. Cate just talked about a coffee shop. That's how she named it, a coffee shop. And I said, okay. At the time, it was during COVID, so my mother-in-law had just passed away. And it was this aha moment for me and my husband, really for me, I think, because I pushed him a little bit and I said, what are we doing with our money? Like, your mom just passed away and what are we doing? We're not traveling. Let's invest it in something.
Yeah. Cool.
And so I said, let's ask Cate. Let's ask her about this coffee shop. And so we asked her about it. She said it was called BIGGBY. Again, we never heard of it. So then we had to try it. So we tried it. We looked it up, and it was very affordable. And from there, we just were like, all right, well, what's this going to look like? And it just took off, really.
Yeah. And then you were telling me, so it was like 2021 you signed the agreement, 2022 you found the property.
Yes.
So it was like kind of almost in like year increments.
Yes.
2023 you opened.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a process. Yep, from signing the franchise agreement in the spring of 21, found our building in the spring of 22, and then opened in the summer of 23.
And I think because there was so many hands in the pot, like, there's 4 of us,
Yeah,
two families.
Right.
We had to agree, right? What's the perfect location that we both would agree on? And again, we visited multiple places. We looked in St. John as well,
Yeah.
where they are now. And even where Dan is, we looked there too before he opened. And then we said, well, let's just, we agreed here and here we are, 3
Yeah.
years later almost.
What was the biggest surprise for you like you have this idea of what it's going to be like, you open, and then what was the biggest surprise in that moment?
For me, the biggest surprise actually was how quickly we had regulars. I was
that's
not
cool.
necessarily expecting that, and from opening, we had a huge support. People were lined up at our opening, which was just amazing. And then it seemed like within several days, we already had regulars. We still have some of those same regulars. So that was the most surprising thing to me, and it was wonderful.
That is nice.
I would say for myself, just how busy we actually were, especially for me not knowing what BIGGBY was. I was like, okay, well, that's great. Like both of our husbands were out there, managing traffic lines, crazy. The other stores and businesses around us were like, you can't block our entryway, So the biggest surprise was
Such good
that.
problems to have.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. I remember that day just
Yes, vividly, I remember as well.
You know.
Those are really good surprises.
Yes.
To the regulars, how busy you were. What were some challenges?
I mean, there's been several, right? Maybe something that we're still working through is just working together. As America mentioned, it's two families that are working together. So that's always, a little bit of a challenge, just making sure that we're both on the same page.
Yeah.
But fortunately, I think we both ultimately want what's best for BIGGBY and for our families, of course. So, we're able to work through it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with Cate. I think the biggest challenge is that, right? It's like, and I called it since day one, it's like a marriage between Cate and myself. Because
True.
we're both, here. And there's going to be times where we don't agree on stuff. There's going to be times where, I have to come and meet her in the middle, or she has to come meet me in the middle. And I think that probably has been the most challenging, getting to know her on a different level.
Right.
As a business partner. Like, I knew her as a friend, as a mom, but now we're here and, we're still learning.
Yeah.
And the good thing is we are understanding and we give each other grace.
Yeah.
Because that's key in this business right now, And again, it's like a marriage.
And you've been at it 3 years.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So you've been partners for 3 years.
Yes.
Yeah. What advice would you give? You kind of answered it in a way, but like if somebody's thinking about going into a partnership, what advice would you give them?
For me, it would be communication. Make sure you're communicating. If you're going into a partnership with somebody, making sure you guys are under the understanding of what are your role, what's your role, what's my role.
Yeah.
Because that's so important.
Yeah.
But I think it comes down to communicating with one another, knowing where you guys stand and, what you guys want to do moving forward for the business.
Yeah.
Yeah, similar, just expectations. What are you expecting to get from the business? What are you expecting to put into the business? And just make sure you guys are very clear about that from the beginning. I would say that's the main thing.
Sure. Do you have differentiated roles? You've got those defined?
Yes and no.
Right.
So we're both here pretty often in the store. Usually at least one of us is here every day.
Okay.
So in that regard, we do a lot of similar things. But then I still kind of handle the scheduling. But then America handles a lot of the community aspect.
Okay.
She's really involved in the schools and that sort of thing. So yes, we do, but at the same time, there's some crossover there.
Sure. Yeah, cool. Okay, let's see. So I talked about surprises. I always like that one. Challenges. What's your favorite part of the business?
I actually like working behind the line. I think it's fun. I like interacting with the customers. I like being back there with our team, and we have fun making the drinks.
Yep.
I like being, when it's busy and I know that they kind of maybe feel a little overwhelmed, I like to be able to maybe calm some nerves and, help just keep things flowing.
So has that changed for you over 3 years? Like, are you spending less time behind the line now?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. And then how did you make that? What was that based on? That decision to reduce your time behind the line?
I think it's just trusting our staff, right? Knowing that we have, a good foundation. We have staff that we have to be able to trust. And, they still call us, but that's okay.
Sure. Yeah.
So we've been trying to, of course, let them try to do things on their own. Like, hey, we tried to walk them through it. And over 3 years, I feel like my favorite part for me really just talking to the customers and, like Cate said, standing behind the line, making those drinks on those busy days.
Yeah.
And yes, I don't do it all the time, but when I do, I mess up and I'm like, oh no, so they're looking at me like, America. I'm like, I'm sorry.
I know.
I'm sorry. So they make fun of me, but, and I always say, well, I'm new here. And they're like, really?
Come on. What's your favorite position to work?
I do like drive-through. I think that's my favorite.
Drive-through cash?
Yes,
Yep.
drive-through cash. It gets busy. I like to talk to the customers over the headset. Sometimes I'll just crack a joke and they laugh. And just talking to the customers there, seeing the regulars coming in. But that's, I think my favorite, I would say. But I don't mind every position, honestly. I like it. I'd rather be a barista than a boss, to be honest.
Right?
Personally, I don't know.
I know that feeling.
Yes.
What's your favorite position?
I like drive-through as well. I say for the same reason. I like being able to talk to the customers. I like to, entertain them while they're waiting, make their wait feel a little less. But I don't mind shop pull,
Yeah.
because you get into the groove of it, and
Yeah.
you just keep that line moving.
Yeah, the engine.
Mm-hmm.
How is your definition, maybe it hasn't, maybe it has, but like your definition of success for the business, has it changed since you started or since before you opened?
For me, it has. So I was in education for 15 years. I was a secretary.
Teaching? Oh,
yeah, I was
secretary.
a secretary,
Okay.
yes. And I loved it. I enjoyed it a lot.
Henceforth, the relationship in the schools. So,
Yeah.
And so, my mindset was a business. We're here to make money, right? That was my thought process. But little did I know, not that we weren't making money, it's just that shouldn't be my only goal, because money doesn't buy you happiness. So,
Sorry.
it just,
Oh,
Dragon
the lemonade went down. Wow. Sorry.
that's okay.
Maybe I got it. We'll see. So continue on with that if you don't mind.
So it just changed my perspective, because you have to really, it's not about the money all the time. You have to invest, make relationships with your staff and your customers at the same time. So it has definitely changed. I mean, yes, making money is important, but that's not solely why we're here. We're here for very, very different reasons. And also just giving back to the community is huge for me. Making those connections outside of here, because then the community supports your business as well. So you see the turnaround, you see all of that. I mean, I think coming from an education, that's why I like to focus on the schools and making those relationships, because I know what that's like as well. And they're very appreciative of it. So it's like a 360.
Well, do you have an answer to that question?
I don't know if my definition has really changed. I definitely went into it with kind of a coaching mindset, just coming from a coaching background. I coached gymnastics for many years. So that's how I came into this. I looked at it in a way of, okay, how can I help this younger staff, even whether they were going to stay at BIGGBY or, once they move on, how can I just help them in figuring out how to be successful. And
Yeah.
so I kind of still have that mindset. That's still kind of my objective, I would say.
Mm-hmm. And it's interesting, like the goal is to make money, but I think what I heard or what I'm hearing is what you learn is that how you make money maybe is how you engage the staff, how you engage people.
100%.
Right. Yeah. Your store's done very well.
Thank you.
That obviously you know that. What would you say were the things that you focused on, or the things that worked in terms of generating new customers or generating traffic? To me, if I'm a prospective franchisee coming in, or a new franchisee that's maybe struggling, like, how do I get more people? And so how would you answer that?
Well, one, I think that we do have a great location, being so close to a really busy roadway.
Yeah, right there. They're going by constantly.
Yes,
Yeah.
And then the highway is just a mile down the road. So I think that was number one, having a great location. Number two, I think, just as America said, just building those relationships. I think just the community effort that we've put in, I think, has really paid off.
Yeah. Sounds like that. Yep.
Yeah, I think that part of it is just putting ourselves out there, right? I mean, sometimes we're like, geez, can we donate 2 or 5, how are we going to do this donation, but we figure it out. And I think it's so important to make those relationships. It is. I mean, sometimes I think even for, Teacher Appreciation Week, I was here every day that week at 6 a.m, brewing coffee,
doing it,
donating all that coffee. And it's just for that, to make those connections with those people, to bring those new customers in. And did I want to be here every day at 6 a.m. or before that? Absolutely not.
Right.
But I did it with the mindset of this is how the business is growing. Like I have to do my part to bring those customers in. New schools are reaching out to us, and of course, if everyone who reached out to me, if I could give them all coffee, I would. But it's tough. So it's just that grind that that is in me. I think that was always instilled in me as a little girl, and I think that's what gets these customers here. It's that community involvement.
If you bring in a new group of baristas, you're training them, if you could give that barista one tip in terms of turning them into a great barista, what would it be?
Do you have an answer?
You know what? When we hire someone new, I always tell them, I said, I am 43 years old, and if I can do it, you can do it.
Yeah.
That's what I always tell them. I say, don't beat yourself up about it. I always say it's just coffee. It's just coffee. It's okay if you make a mistake. Take a deep breath, and you're gonna be fine. We know a lot of the times, when we hire a new person, who can catch on really quickly, but there are times where there's someone who maybe struggles a little bit, right? And it's just really having the patience and working with them. I think one thing is just being your best self when you're here, putting that hat on as of a barista. Put yourself in that place of how am I gonna make someone's day better?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that's kind of similar, that we're just making coffee. We're here to make somebody's day better. It's a cup of coffee or a hot sandwich. That's all we're doing.
Yeah.
We're not trying to change the world or, negotiate world peace. Like, it's okay. We're just trying to make one person's day better with a smile and a cup of coffee.
Yeah, and that relaxes them.
Yes, I think so.
If you had my job and you could change any one thing at BIGGBY, what would you change?
So I would say maybe coming in as a new franchisee, and neither of us had been business owners before, we had a ton of support from our area representative and her team getting the store opened and trying to hire those great people and training those great people. I think maybe one thing though where maybe we felt we could have received more support was, okay, now that we're making drinks and we can serve customers, what's the business aspect? How do we make sure that we are running efficiently? So maybe looking at the financial side of it a little bit more and getting a little more support from that aspect, just again because neither of us knew business.
Right.
We learned how to make the coffee and how to serve customers, so we were able to do that successfully.
Yeah.
So maybe just a little more support.
We are in process on that. I don't know what we're calling it. I know JD's pretty deep into it right now. It's like sort of a secondary training, because you can go through new owner operator training and it's like it just all comes at you, and then you open and then it's like there's not a lot of recall, and so a secondary training, I don't know all the details of it. I do know we're deep into that now, so
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. And I mean, thankfully, we figured it out. We have.
You kind of have to, right?
Yeah, right? Yeah. And, we have lots of support, and so we were. But I just think maybe going into it again as new business owners.
Well, just getting some rough frameworks of it
Right.
all, right? Like the tools and what's available, and
Exactly.
yeah.
I think
that's
even
cool.
just being, we were never owner managers like Cate said. I agree with everything she said, but I also am very thankful for my husband because he comes with a background of, having some business or education in business. And so he has been a great tool in, helping with all of that and kind of teaching both of us, I feel like, different things where we were, I know especially me, I'm like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
I always ask him, like, what does that mean? And he's like, well, this is what it means, But just, having that as well. And the internet, my goodness.
The internet, Google.
Yes.
Yeah, Google. Well, very good. Thanks you for doing this.
Yes, of
Is there a
course.
question you wanted me to ask that I didn't?
No.
Not that I can think
No.
of.
You sure? Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
Appreciate
Thank you.
it. Yeah,
Thank
thanks.
you.
Nice.
Yeah.